Today on the Sane Estate, what really happens at the Senior Center, cat herding volunteers, looking 10 years ahead, and schooling the under 50 crowd on being over 50. Welcome to the Sane Estate, a podcast all about Ipswich, Massachusetts, and what Ipswich is all about. I'm John Woolforth, your service dog, on this edifying journey where we explore the people, places, and things of this larger-than-life small town. From gossip to glamour, greatness to grudges, and everything in between, we'll talk about it with a wink, a nudge, and maybe a little bit of whining. Today, we're talking about something that doesn't make headlines, but is, a thing that all of us should be aware of and are aware of, and that is aging in Ipswich. This is something that defines this town as much as fried clams or town meeting drama. Over a third of our neighbors are over 60, which means the Council on Aging isn't just a side hustle, it's a lifeline. At the center of it all is Melinda, who's been steering the Council on Aging since 2023. She oversees everything from van rides and luncheons to memory cafes and volunteer armies that could put the Marines to shame. She's here to talk about what it takes to make Ipswich a place where aging isn't an afterthought, and maybe critique some of the big goodies from the Senior Center. Melinda, welcome to the Sane Estate.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Happy to have you here, that's for sure. So let's start at the beginning. What first you drew into working with seniors? Was this a calling, or did you just sort of stumble into it?
Sure, so I had my first job working with seniors as a volunteer when I was 14.
Wow.
So my mom really wanted me and my siblings to get out during the summer and not be around the house, so she had us do some volunteer jobs. So I got a job at the Senior Center. I'm from New Hampshire, so I was in Manchester at the time.
Okay.
And so I spent my summer there. And so from there, after high school, I ended up working at a home care agency. So I did direct care as a caregiver in people's homes. Then I worked for Meals on Wheels for a couple of years. And then more recently, I spent about 8 years working with kids and families.
Okay.
And then transitioned kind of back working with seniors a few years ago. So I've been at the Council on Aging since 2023 and really enjoying my time there.
And you're the boss, big cheese, right?
Yeah.
All right. It's good to know. Council on Aging covers a lot of ground: advocacy, programs, hands-on help. Like, what's one thing people don't realize that you actually do? I think there'd probably be a lot of things that I don't know.
Yeah. So I think people don't realize the extent of the social services that we offer. It's really a huge part of our organization, and it's a huge part of how we spend a lot of our time. Mm-hmm. So really anything related to outreach and providing referrals to different outside organizations, but really a lot of one-on-one help with helping people with housing applications, helping people find, food benefits, help with applications for, different kind of health insurance. And then transportation is a huge piece as well.
Right.
We do a lot of that. And then, the programming is another big piece.
So a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's what I thought. I'm like, there's going to be a lot of things I don't know here.
Yeah.
And that's great.
Yeah. I think another piece of that is that people don't realize is how much of what we do is really reliant on grant and private funding. So the monies we receive from the town really just cover the COA salaries. Anything outside of that, we have our budget for our department is actually just a little less than $6,000 a year.
What?
Yeah, so that covers
That's going to buy postage
programming,
stamps.
right? So programming, office supplies, like mileage reimbursement, all of those things
Wow.
We have about $6,000. So that being said, we get a grant from the state every year through the Executive Office of Aging and Independence.
Okay.
And so every COA across the state gets some grant funding from there. And then outside of that, we apply for grants.
Please say it's more than $6,000.
From the state?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the state is a formula grant, which means we get a dollar amount per senior per year.
Oh,
and that
okay.
amount is $15
Per
per senior per year. So based on the number of people on our census, okay?
what? I mean,
So $15 also doesn't go
It's
a
very
very
far.
long way
yeah, that's
for
not
the
funny
number
at
of
all
seniors that we have
either.
in this town.
This
So
is bad.
yeah, so funding is always something that is a challenge for us. We're always looking for new and creative ways to find funds. We've had some really great grant opportunities.
Yeah.
Last year we received a transportation grant through the Massachusetts Councils on Aging, which went a long way. This year we received another grant from them that's going to be specific to nutrition services, and we're actually building a food pantry inside of the senior center that we're really excited about.
So that's something that could be
Yeah.
more helpful, right? I mean, obviously a lot of people in town, if you have food drives, would that be something that qualified in that sense?
Yeah, so we're actually going to be partnering with Open Door.
Oh, okay.
So we already have a partnership with them where they come in once a month and do what they call a mobile market. And so
Right.
they bring their food pantry to us. And so we're kind of just going to expand upon that, and we're going to have an actual food pantry in the senior center. Open Door is going to supply the food for that pantry.
Oh.
So we're really excited about it. It's still kind of in the planning phase, but grants are what allow us to do these types of things. And then we also have a wonderful organization that's called the Friends of Ipswich Elderly, and that's a nonprofit arm. So it's separate from the town because as town employees we can't fundraise. And so the Friends are a nonprofit and they fundraise
can.
for us,
Okay.
right? So they're able to help us in a lot of ways in places where grant funding or town funding, don't cover.
And if I wanted to donate, where do I go?
So the Friends are currently working on a website and a PayPal account. So I had asked for an easy way for folks to donate because previously it was basically just write a check and put it in the mail. So they just recently had someone set up a PayPal for them so you can donate online, which is great.
Okay. Is there an email address or an address we can go to get that, or you just go to PayPal and search for them?
So I can be reached at melindav@ipswichma.gov.
Okay.
Yeah.
Melinda V as in Vining
Yep,
at Ipswich
ma.gov.
ma.gov.
You got it, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
The Friends also fund a couple programs that are really near and dear to my heart. So the first is called Project Warm Home.
Mm-hmm.
So this is basically it's a fuel assistance program that's privately funded through donations. And what we do is for eligible seniors, they would go through the process to get fuel assistance, like through the state.
Mm-hmm.
And then once those benefits have been exhausted, our program kicks in and they can use up to $1,000 a year in fuel assistance through the Friends of Ipswich Elderly. So the program is managed within the COA, but it's funded through the Friends. One thing that we're really concerned about this year is the federal impacts, the federal cuts that are potentially impacting
Right.
fuel assistance, which is known as the HEAP, so Heating and Energy Assistance Program.
Okay.
So the federal budget that was initially released had that funding zeroed out. So it's still in the works. Congress has yet to approve that budget. They're on recess right now. but organizations across the country who manage these fuel assistance programs for the state. So typically the state would fund the local organizations and then get reimbursed through the feds. But there's really no information yet as far as what that funding could look like if Congress decides to put money back in. Will it be the same amount? Are they going to go back to some previous years' funding levels? We're really, really hoping it does not stay at zero for obvious reasons. The impact that could make on us locally is pretty significant.
Well, we know that people in need don't go on recess. And I'm sure we can count on Congress to do the right thing.
I hope so. We have heard that there's bipartisan support to fund the program. We just don't know at what level. But what it means for our program is that typically when people apply, we say, yes, when the time comes, you'll have up to $1,000 a year. Some people don't use that full $1,000. Some people don't access it at all. So we're able to approve a lot more people than maybe we even have the funding for. But our concern is that if there is no HEAP funding, then people are going to be looking to access those funds from us immediately, as soon as the fuel season begins.
So it's like a bank run.
So we don't have the financial capacity to cover that difference between the potential benefits that folks would be losing. So we've had ongoing conversations both with the COA board and then the Friends board on how we can really make sure we continue to serve the same number of people. We also anticipate more people applying for the program because of other financial needs that are occurring because of a combination of things, whether it be lowered SNAP benefits or increases in rent, and folks are on a fixed income. So all of these things are kind of coming at the same time. So our board is really working to fundraise specifically for the Project Warm Home so that we can be confident for this upcoming fuel season that we can provide the same level of service and benefit to folks who are in need of heating their homes. The program was started by an individual donation that was then matched by a grant. And this was like 10, 15 years ago. And the program has continued through really generous gifts from our neighbors and from local businesses and grants as well. But that's definitely a focus for this fall for our board, really trying to make sure that we can kind of get to that account to like a really comfortable level where we can still be able to provide that same dollar amount to the same number of people. What we really, really don't want to happen is either having to decrease the benefit amount or decrease the number of people that we serve. So that's kind of what we're trying to avoid right now. So yeah, those are some of the challenges that we're up against right now.
I can imagine they've been, exponential in the last year or so since things have changed so much. Well, anyway, obviously very critical issue, and I wish you luck on that, and I hope it goes where you need it to go.
Thank you.
Now, as far as the senior center goes, I mean, my mentality, my perception of the senior center is, bingo and bad coffee. I would imagine it's far more than that, especially today.
Yeah.
So I want to fill us in a little bit more about what you can maybe see on a typical day.
Yeah, so the senior center serves folks who are 60 and older. And so we have a huge population of what my predecessor, Sheila Taylor, she referred to as junior seniors. So like those in the 60, 70 range, people who are more interested in doing more active activities, We do a lot of travel and trips. It's something that there's a huge demand for, like a post-COVID surge of just people really wanting to get out there and travel again. And traveling in groups is a great way to do it, especially if you're single and you don't want to, go somewhere to a foreign country on your own. That can be scary.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we do a lot of trips. Last year we did, the Lakes region of Italy. We just had a group that went to the Badlands and Mount Rushmore. We had a group that went out to the Hot Air Balloon Festival in New Mexico. So
neat.
really fun, really fun stuff. But then we also have a knitting circle, and they're a group of wonderful ladies who have been gathering for decades, and they make beautiful pieces that they donate to, preemie babies and veterans groups and hospitals. They win awards at the Topsfield Fair.
I'm sure it's better than my mom's quilt back in the day. It's anyway.
But we have people love pickleball. We have a great chair volleyball team that's gotten a little competitive recently and plays against other senior centers in the area.
Any fights?
No, they keep it fun. They keep it fun. Yeah. There's a little bit of something for everyone. Yeah.
That's cool. So obviously seniors in Ipswich and other places face a lot of challenges, transportation, housing, as we know, is huge, and isolation being one of the most critical. And actually Suzanne had mentioned that there was a declaration of it being an epidemic. Or is that in consideration?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you know about that, but that she had relayed that information.
Yeah, so I think a lot of what we do is relational. I think that makes us really unique as a town department.
Yeah.
It's just a wonderful place to be and to make friends and make connections. And there's a lot of people who come in every day. They come in, they have coffee, they read our newspaper, we have puzzles. I don't know if you're familiar with the term third places, where they talk about, you have home, you have work, and then a third place, that place where you can go and hang out and make connections. But I think with seniors, they've lost that second place, right? They're not going to work anymore.
Right.
And so we've kind of filled that gap of being that place where you can go, be social if you want to. You can just hang out in the lobby, and there's pretty much always someone to chat with. We've met lots of people who have told us that they were new in town and they came in and they've met some of their best friends there. It's a really great place for just community building, getting to know your neighbors, and there's genuine care and concern for one another. If you don't see someone for a couple days, they're going to get a phone call either from one of us or someone else that they normally see. So people really check in on each other, and
it's a neighborly thing.
It is, yeah.
So it's kind of like the second and third place for these people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So obviously, because of the nature of your organization, you need volunteers.
Yeah.
And you amazingly have over 150 volunteers that you manage.
We do.
How do you do that? Is it cat herding? Is it?
So we never have had to recruit, which is incredible. When I showed up a couple years ago, I was overwhelmed by the massive amounts of volunteers and their willingness to just kind of step in whatever's needed.
Yeah.
We do an annual appreciation event for them, where we do like a nice brunch and gather to show our appreciation, because we really couldn't do what we do without them. When you look at the funding levels that we have and the amount of output in like programs and activities, so much of what we do is facilitated by volunteers. And so we really try to match people to their interests, right? So it's mutually beneficial. So I don't want to just plug someone in somewhere where, they're not interested in that, or,
Right.
They're not finding joy. We really kind of, through the interview process, find out what their interests are, what are they looking to do, and sometimes we can fit them in with an existing program, and sometimes we say, oh, it looks like maybe you want to start a new program.
So how do you go about that? I mean, do they just pop in and say, yeah, I'm bored,
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah, a lot of people come in recently retired. One lady recently came in and was like, I retired 2 days ago. I'm ready to do something new. So, and some people are in several times a week. Some people we see several times a year. I think one of the biggest needs, and something that we have grown a lot in, is our medical ride transportation program. So we have volunteers that bring folks to medical rides outside of our catchment area.
Yeah.
And that's huge. It's huge. It's hard finding transportation in Ipswich.
Yeah.
It's hard. We don't really have public transportation outside of the train. And then it's really impossible to get like an Uber or Lyft here, even if you wanted one. Like, they just generally don't come to this area. And then there's a whole other issue with, the technology side of that. So people are able to call us, tell us when their doctor's appointment is, and we do our best to get them there.
That's I can imagine is a challenge in itself, all of that. And I mean, again, relating to, Suzanne mentioned, as far as the Ubers or those types of services, they're not necessarily empathetic.
Right. Yeah.
That's kind of
if you have
disappointing.
any kind of medical need, mobility need, like, that's really not the route you'd want to go down anyways.
Yeah.
So we're really fortunate to have kind of an army of folks who are willing to pick people up and drive them to Boston, drive them to Burlington,
That's great.
Newburyport. Yeah.
And did you get a new van?
We did. So this past year, we got a new van. We had a patron who passed away a couple years ago and left us in his will $100,000 to buy a van.
Ooh,
with the specifics.
big van.
With the specifics that it have comfortable seats. And so Sheila Taylor had, placed the order for the van before she left. They take like a year to build and come in.
Wow.
So we finally got it this past October, and got to have a really great first ride with the donor's family. We had invited them to come.
Oh, that's sweet.
And take the first ride with us. But yeah, again, just speaking to the generosity of this community and the support that we've received, just to be able to do what we do has been really overwhelming.
So there you go. Ipswich does take care of its own.
Yeah.
I mean, those types of things illustrate that point. I mean, aside from that particular story, which is amazing, is there's just something else maybe where it made you feel great about being here and being in the position you're in?
Yeah.
Because you're seeing this kinds of caring in action. Is there something that stands out?
Honestly, I feel like I have those experiences daily, which really so we had a circumstance recently where we had some blinds and curtains that were falling down in our cafeteria, and there was this couple who was coming in for line dancing every week, and they said, oh, hey, we own a blinds shop and we would love to repair these for you. We're not even going out and asking for things. People are showing up and saying, we see a need and we want to meet that need for you.
That is amazing.
We have a couple storage rooms that got really overwhelmingly messy.
Yeah.
And there's 2 volunteers that help in our kitchen who just showed up and pulled everything out and organized it and put it back. And again, it's like we don't even ask. People just show up.
It's just that's empathy, right? That's seeing there's a need, or someone needs help, or something needs help. I can't see anything better than that. I mean, that's just really good to hear, right? Especially
Yeah.
for me, I'm a super cynical person, so I'm going to buy that.
Yeah.
I'm all in on that one.
Yeah.
So leadership styles vary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you being the big cheese, as I mentioned, whatever. It's like, how would you describe your leadership styles? You're like, clipboard commander? Are you the dictator, the referee? What's it going to be?
Yeah, I'd say I think for my first year, I was really more interested in absorbing everything and learning from the staff how they do things. I inherited an amazing organization that was functioning very well with an incredible team of staff who cares deeply about what they do and for the people that they serve. And so, after my first year, after kind of getting settled, then I started feeling more comfortable, either making changes or adding new programs and things like that. But I'd say it's really collaborative. I really like to give the staff a lot of autonomy and creativity, and like if they have an idea, like let them kind of run with it. Like the food pantry was the idea of one of my social workers, and she was like, this is something I feel like would be really beneficial to our patrons. So I said, all right, I'll write the grant, and then you run with it,
Wow.
So just really letting them kind of follow their own passions, like play to their own strengths.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how I lead.
I think that's important. It shows that you care and that you value the input of the people that you work with.
Yeah.
Right? So that's awesome. Awesome. Ipswich in 10 years. It's hard to imagine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, we blink and it's 10 years later because
Yeah.
time goes by so quickly, or it seems to be, anyway, to me. What would you like to see changed in the next 10 years in Ipswich? Where would you hope to see us as a town when it comes to recognizing the needs of our older generation or our older population, and what do you think would be one of the best things to happen to make things better for them?
Yeah, I would really love to have our own building, like a standalone senior center.
So you don't? You don't?
No, we're inside town hall. So we're in the lower level of town hall.
Is that like next to the bowling alley? There's no bowling alley.
Yeah. So we have, so parking is always an issue because obviously it's the whole town hall. So when there's other groups or meetings coming in, like parking is just always a problem. And then space. So we have some dedicated space that's just ours, but a lot of the rooms that we use for different programs like our art classes and all those different things are shared spaces. And so sometimes other organizations like will be using those rooms, and so then we have to kind of like get creative and find other spots to put people in the building. So just space
weird,
and parking are huge. I would love someday, to have our own building. I've toured some other senior centers in the region, and I've been really jealous of some of their facilities. And then I think as far as our own growth as a COA, I think just being able to continue to serve the needs of our population, which is aging, so increasing transportation offerings, increasing social service offerings, needing to hire more staff to do each of those things, and just growing with our aging population.
So can you maybe theorize or on why these other towns may have more resources or more financial backing to have a better, more sophisticated or more modern senior center?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. Some of them were able to move into like existing buildings that were vacated by maybe something else. Some of them,
owned by the community.
Owned by the town, yeah.
Okay.
And some of them, were funded in a way that, to just, build a new building. I think with the state of things in the town right now, with the number of buildings that are decrepit, I think that would be a big ask for us right now. But I do hope that, you know, in the future, that's something that we could think about.
It seems like we're falling down all of that. Like, where's the, you know, the schools for the kids, and that, you know, and then where's our town safety built? Well, I think that's finally going to happen. So there's something, regardless of this, some of us don't like the look of it. Hey, it's more about function than look. I'm just going to say that. But beyond that, I'm sort of digressing. But the point is the same, that you're sort of in the line at the deli, right? You got to take a number and hope to get called sooner than later. So sucky, in that, you know, aspect. So outreach, it's critical. You know this, right? Especially for seniors who stay home or feel disconnected. Can you tell us a story of like where outreach might have or truly changed someone's life?
Sure.
Beyond what their expectations would have been. Like, you know, they're feeling like they're just alone and nobody cares anymore. But now what are some of the things that you've done to get these people to feel like, you know, they can breathe or they can live again?
Yeah, I think that became even more challenging, you know, kind of post-COVID, where people were so severely isolated, and especially the elder population being even more isolated than the rest of us. So
that's terrible.
Kind of encouraging folks to come out, making individual invitations to things, you know, why don't you come in for one of our lunches? Trying to connect people to each other even, you know, if one of the staff, you know, personally invites someone to a luncheon, then, you know, greeting them, introducing them to other people, maybe bringing them to a table saying, you know, this is so-and-so, and just helping people make those connections, because I can imagine it would be really daunting to just walk into a room with 60 people and just find a seat and sit down, right? It must be like in school, like walking into the lunchroom if you're a new student.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, so just, I think just really, again, the relational piece is really important. Making people feel comfortable, making people feel welcome, and just encouraging participation, or encouraging them to come with a friend, or sometimes a family member will attend with someone for their first couple visits, which can really help too. Yeah.
I would think that the atmosphere itself sort of lends itself to them feeling more comfortable, because you know, people, they're going to absorb the joy in the room, the happiness, the banter, that, you know, everyone's having fun, right?
Yep.
I need more of that.
Yeah.
Work too much, no. Anyway, a lot of younger residents. So yeah, we mentioned that, you know, a good third of the town is over 60, but we do have a lot of young residents as well, or maybe below 50, let's say. A lot of them don't think about taking care of their parents or anyone else, a loved one, you know, with dementia. I mean, they don't think about it until that, unfortunately, that thing happens. Right. What's a way that you could convey something to to these people who are under 50? That could help them understand more about what potentially could happen?
Sure. So I have kind of followed a general rule they call the 40-70 rule. So when you reach 40 and or your parents reach 70, that's the time to start having conversations. So talking to your loved ones about what their long-term plan is, if there is one. Starting to make one if there isn't anything in place. You know, where do they want to live? Do they want to stay in their home? Do they want to have care come into the home so they can stay at home as long as possible? Would they prefer to maybe downsize? Would they want to go into a facility at some point, and what would that look like? Who are their support system? Whether that's children or neighbors or paid caretakers. Really trying to think about what you want that stage of life to look like, and making sure that everyone's kind of informed and on board and prepared. Too often we just wait for the crisis to happen, and then we're scrambling to kind of try to figure out what the next steps would be.
And I think a lot of that is about nobody wants to think about these things, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, at some point you have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just the nature of life, right?
Yeah. I would say that working at the COA has made me less afraid of aging. I feel like generally, like, folks in their 40s have like that fear of aging or avoidance. And what I've seen is really just people into their 70s, 80s, and 90s leading these really full, vibrant lives and having so much fun because they don't have to go to work every day.
They don't have to go to work every day,
They're
right?
having a blast.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really lessened that for me quite a bit. You know, it's something that I honestly, like, I can look forward to and embrace. We got to celebrate a 100th birthday not too long ago.
Wow.
Yeah, so we had a party. Her family all came. Senator Tarr came. The select board
hilarious.
came. And she is sharp as a tack. And I
Don't
mean,
you love
knew everybody's names.
That's awesome.
Knew our name, know our children's names, knows your cousin's name down the street. Like, this woman remembers everything, everyone.
That's amazing.
And what an amazing milestone, you know, to get to celebrate with someone. It was really incredible.
I can't imagine. I mean, maybe someday I will, but you know, what's the odds, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's certainly some people who have better, well, I say better genes than others. Who knows really what there's environmental factors, there's financial, social factors, and all that.
Yeah.
But I think one of the amazing things about what you're saying is that you're enabling people in these age groups to do things perhaps beyond their budget because of organizations such as yours that exists to help them.
Yeah.
And I think that's just fantastic in itself.
Yeah.
So.
Thanks.
But beyond the programs and services, what's one small thing anyone in town can do this week or this month or any time to, make an elder's life feel better or be better in some way, whether it's your neighbor, your loved one, family member, whatever it is?
Yeah, I mean, I would say pick up the phone. We try to do that as much as possible. If there's someone that we haven't seen in a little while, just calling. Sometimes it's a 2-minute conversation. It's just, hey, I was thinking of you. We haven't seen you, or, how are you doing? How are you feeling? And just checking in, letting people know that you're thinking of them. I mean, if you have a neighbor that just knocking on the door, saying hello, just making those connections, I feel like go a really long way.
Absolutely, I agree with you. You've talked about a lot of the rewarding aspects of your job, and this is all of these things that have come to you or that you've experienced.
Yeah.
Did you know that this was going to be part of it when you started out? Where did you see it? How did you see it when you first started versus how you see it now?
Like working at the senior center, and I mean, I was really surprised at the number of services. I was really surprised by, I've mentioned it, but the generosity of the community and supporting us. I had no idea, going into it, like the financial piece. So learning about that, I think, was really eye-opening for me. I mean, some of it was what I was expecting, and some of it wasn't. But it's all just kind of been a fun learning experience along the way.
Can't ask for more, right?
Yeah.
And it's also been very not rewarding, we've used that word, but I'm saying more like satisfying, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that compels you to keep going and just do more, right?
Yep.
And along those lines, speaking a little bit from personal experience, but when somebody, how do we phrase it? So somebody is, we just talked about the 100-year-old, right?
Yeah.
She's very vibrant and everything. Yeah. Everything's there. But then symptoms start of like dementia, right? is it always quickly that they'll go downhill, or is it something that sometimes takes quite a long time?
Yeah, it's really dependent on the person, and it always looks different. And there's limitations to how we can intervene. But generally, when we start to see a decline is when we start kind of looping in other organizations or referring out to other organizations that can provide like the support that person needs. People are always welcome to continue to come to the senior center. There's sometimes situations where people require like an aide or a family member to accompany them, right? So like if there's dementia or Alzheimer's, it gets to a point where the person wouldn't be safe to be independent or left alone. That's when we would ask that someone accompany them. But yeah, it's always very different. We generally are able to utilize other local resources to really get people the support that they need.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
All right, let's lighten the mood a little bit here.
Okay.
So that thank you for all the
Yeah.
answers and the questions,
Sure.
answering the questions that I asked,
Yeah.
and a lot of information there. And as I said before, we're going to get the information on our Facebook page for contacting Melinda and any of the organizations that she recommends that perhaps some of us might want to find out more about. So lightning round.
Okay.
Okay, this is where we're going to ask some quick questions, possibly dumb questions,
Okay.
and you're legally allowed to laugh if you
Okay.
want. So. All right. Are you older today than you were yesterday, or younger than you were tomorrow, or you'll be tomorrow?
Both.
Bing, bing, bing. She wins a Cupid doll. So that's who wins a Cupid doll anyway? So when the COA has competitive activities, does everyone get a participation trophy?
No.
No. Well, I'm not playing then.
No.
Because I'm never gonna win. All right. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Yes. For sure.
I'm going to say no, just to be different. But a lot of people say it is, so we're gonna run with that. Jeffrey's Neck. It's part of Ipswich. Where's the rest of him?
Part of him. Well, in the ocean.
Clam Flats?
Yeah.
Perhaps?
Sure. Yeah.
Perhaps, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully he's not in the wastewater.
Oh gosh.
That wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a lot of fun.
No.
All right. Would you attend the Roaring Twenties party in the 1930s?
No.
Why not?
No, you need at least 2 decades to pass.
You heard that one, huh?
Before. That's kind of my personal opinion.
It's like classic rock.
I wouldn't go to like a 2010s like a 2015 party. Right? Would you?
No.
No.
That seems way too recent.
It'd have to be like 2000s or earlier.
Yeah. I would go.
I'm still wearing those clothes from 2015. Those aren't like.
There you go. But it's it's like classic rock.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Like it used to be in the 80s, it was the 60s, and now in the 2020, whatever we are, it's still the 80s or 90s, right?
Yeah.
And then now you're starting to hit 2000s, you're like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's going to be 2020. Classic 2020 songs.
No.
Well, that's scary. All right. Have any of your seniors earned Letterman jackets?
I don't know.
Why not?
I don't know.
You need to figure that out. Just saying.
Okay, well, survey.
But that's the thing, that goes back to the competitions, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and if no one gets participation trophies, why would anyone get a Letterman jacket?
True.
All right, I rest my case. Thanks for playing, Melinda.
Thank
That was
you
fun.
for having me.
Absolutely. That was Melinda Vining, director, advocate, and living proof that getting older doesn't mean sitting quietly while the world passes by. Her work reminds us that community isn't a luxury. It's the thing that keeps the wheels turning, sometimes literally in a COA van, like that $100,000 deal I got. Man, there must be some bling in that. If you've got a story about Ipswich, an opinion about senior field trips, or once got life advice from a stranger at Zoomies that changed your week, drop us a line. Email guest@saneestate.com and tell us why you'd like to be on the show. Good stories are free, and we're always open for business. Thanks for joining us today on the Sane Estate. Leave a review, share the show, or submit a non-binding resolution at town meeting recommending this show to your neighbors. Or, you know what, let's skip that one. Instead, I would say just go on Ipswich Pissimone and critique my wardrobe. For the Sane Estate, I'm John Woolforth. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and most of all, stay sane.